The recent events surrounding the military junta in Niger and the US overtures have brought to light the complex dynamics of international diplomacy and the challenges faced by African nations in their pursuit of democracy and development. The rejection of US mediation efforts by the military junta underscores the delicate nature of such negotiations and the stubbornness often exhibited by military leadership. It is clear that communication channels between the US and the junta were open, with Acting Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland serving as the conduit. However, the absence of a direct meeting between Nuland and the head of the junta itself indicates the inherent difficulties in establishing meaningful dialogue. This raises questions about the willingness of military leaders to engage in sincere discussions and compromise for the greater good of their nation. African democracies have been grappling with a crisis of confidence as citizens witness repressive regimes and lackluster governance leading to disillusionment. The lack of democratic dividends, such as job opportunities, access to basic services, and infrastructure development, fuels the frustration among the populace. This disillusionment can create fertile ground for support of military interventions or coups, driven by the desire to break free from the status quo. The role of the United States in shaping Africa's political landscape cannot be understated. Its condemnations of repressive regimes and undemocratic practices resonate with citizens yearning for change. However, the double standards perceived by many Africans, where the U.S. condemns certain actions in its own country but doesn't hold African leaders to the same standard, have led to a loss of credibility. The U.S. must re-evaluate its approach and consistently advocate for democratic values, human rights, and good governance, regardless of the geographical location. Beyond rhetoric and condemnation, the U.S. should focus on meaningful partnerships that promote sustainable development. Aid and financial assistance, while important, must be accompanied by efforts to empower local economies, create jobs, and improve infrastructure. By engaging in equitable collaborations, the U.S. can contribute to building self-sustaining nations that prioritize the well-being of their citizens. The paradox of military regimes often delivering more infrastructure than elected governments raises pertinent questions about the effectiveness of democratic processes. This calls for introspection on the part of African leaders and politicians. The allocation of resources and efforts towards meaningful progress should be prioritized over personal gain. The U.S. can play a pivotal role in encouraging leaders to channel their energies into nation-building and creating societies that thrive under democratic governance. In conclusion, the U.S. must rethink its foreign policy approach towards Africa, focusing on consistency, equity, and sustainable development. By actively supporting democratic values, condemning repressive practices, and promoting partnerships for progress, the U.S. can regain relevance and credibility in the eyes of Africans. Such a recalibration of strategy can help prevent the need for military interventions, coups, or other drastic measures, and contribute to the emergence of strong and vibrant democracies across the continents.